If you're just joining, I am Idara Udo. I am always here every Saturday morning by 10:15 to bring you the program Time Out with me, Idara. So yes, let's kickstart this morning. I have with me someone who's passionate about education, someone who's passionate about impacting, and someone who has been doing this over the years and making sure that she leaves her mark on the sands of time. Now I have none other than Zainab Mabini-Adesanya. She's actually a school growth strategist, and she has been doing this and making so much impact with her work. Now, Zainab, I must say good morning and welcome. Let's talk about Zainab. Now, I see your work online. I see the things you do. But who exactly is Zainab Mabini-Adesanya? And exactly what inspired you to go into school growth? Because for me, with you, that was the first time I ever heard somebody can actually grow school and make it a profession.
Oh yeah. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so my name is Zainab Mabini-Adesanya, and I'm very excited to be here this morning.
Nice to
Who
have
is
you.
Zainab? Well, I'm an educator, a school growth strategist. I advocate and support schools to last.
Beautiful.
That
Because,
is
by the way, that's our talking point. Yes, how you can
Yeah,
help your school
I
grow.
advocate and support schools to last. And what that means is that I do training, I provide advisory, I do support schools through services that can help them build sustainable systems in their school. Because the goal is to have private schools that are profitable and sustainable. You know, the sustainability part is the painful part. And I looked at the pain point. I looked at schools, as a business, we want to make impact. It's an impact driven venture. And we get so wrapped up, as educators in building impact, making impact, in such ways that we are not building systems. And when we are not building systems, before we know it, we can, the school can reign 10 years, even 20 years. And then it gets to a point, passion can no longer push it. That drive can no longer push it forward, and then you know it comes to a close. And the painful part is that, unlike several other businesses, when any business folds up, yes, they fold up. But in school, when a school closes up, it affects the alumni, it affects the people who are working in the school, it affects the community where that school exists. So it has ripple effect on national development. And this was what prompted me to say, you know what, I'm going to dedicate myself into doing this, and this is what we're doing.
No, really interesting. Now, I like the mantra, build schools that last. Build schools that last. I think it's something that, of course, would make somebody want to think and ask the question, why would I care? Why would I want to build schools that last? Why would I even start a legacy? Of course, you know that is impacting. Normally, it's supposed to grow. Is there something that, of course, we need to understand by this? What do you really mean when we say schools that grow, and why should we care as Nigerians whether school grows or not?
Okay, why we it's a concern. Either we're a mother, a father, a policy maker, because education affects every sphere of the society, and as it is, the government alone cannot bear it. Every child deserves quality education, and government alone cannot do this. So the private ventures need to be supported everywhere they are. They need our support. As parents, they need our support. As policymakers, those of us in government, schools need our support. And I'm glad something is actually coming up recently, right? And school owners themselves, a lot of them, they are very good in education. If you ask them about Montessori, you ask them about early years education, they can tell you all of that. But when it comes to business, so there is a gap. When it comes to business knowledge, when it comes to building systems that can last, there is a gap. And this is why we're stepping in to provide this to close this gap in our own little way, to ensure that School owners, they have that knowledge of running a business. And then there is a myth around calling a school a business. Some people think when you call a school a business, it means you want to do less. No, when you call it a business, it means you are very intentional about every aspect of the school, about every system in the school. You are very intentional about making sure that they can last, they are profitable, they can last. Because when it's not profitable, when it is draining the energy of the founder, it will get to a point the founder can no longer continue. The children will say, no, we cannot inherit this. No, there are no systems. Even investors will not be able to say, we are interested in your school, we want to. No one will be interested in pushing it forward. And before you know it, it's gone. And then when a child says, oh, I graduated from ABC school, and they ask you, where is that ABC school? It no longer exists.
I've seen many cases like
Many.
Many
It's
cases,
many, and it's painful. It's many. It's been happening for years, and no one has actually been talking about this. And we took it upon ourselves because it's painful to see this energy go down after lots of years.
Okay, Zainab, let's look at our Nigerian educational system, as it were. Now, when we talk about, of course, schools, the first thing that comes to mind is teaching. Now, could you tell us some of the common mistakes that school owners make, that they don't run their schools as businesses?
Oh wow! You see, this is deep, but I'll take it one at a time. Yes. Okay, so the first mistake I highlighted something earlier, that don't confuse business for mediocrity, right? Prioritize quality over quantity. When you prioritize quality over quantity, it means you take your time to build. You are not in a rush to have a large number of students, because if you have that large number of students and you don't have a system, an academic system that can ensure that they excel, an administrative system that ensures that the school operation flows efficiently, if you don't have the financial system to ensure that you collect the right fees and you receive your payment at the right time, if there is no system when it comes to the branding of the school, if there is no system that supports the school, it won't last. That's one. Secondly, is that charging the accurate fees. Many schools struggle with charging the accurate fees for their school. There is there are different levels of school. There are international schools, there are local schools, there are medium cost schools. So each school have different target audience, right? The target audience for schools in a particular location is different from the target audience for the school in another location, right? There is this mistake of school owners want to start a school, and the next thing to calculate their school fees is they go to school A. In fact, some of them do spy method. They send someone to school A. This one says, "Oh, my fee is 25,000." They go to school B. That one says, "My fee is 20,000." They now come to their own school and say,
15,000.
"Everybody, you know what? Let's do 22,500." Meanwhile, this school A, you don't know whether there are investors, you don't know whether there is a supportive spouse somewhere, you don't know where the school is generating their funds, you don't know the population, you don't know the capacity of the school building, the number of students it can take at a time. And probably the school that is charging 25,000 may have a space that takes 200 students. And you want to have a space that can only take 100 students. The curriculum you want to run, your teaching resources are different. The kind of teacher you want to use, they are different. And then you just say that you charge that money, and when you charge that money, even if they pay, every month you are running from pillar to post to pay salaries. You are borrowing from there. There was a time a school owner complained, bitterly, and then the first thing we did was, okay, you know what you're going to do? Please, how much do you earn in a year, in a session? We told her to write it out. By the time she wrote that amount out, let's assume, because our complaint was that parents were not paying on time. So by the time she wrote the money, let's assume they pay in full. What is the total money you're supposed to have? Could you believe that the total money she wrote was 400,000 naira lesser than the annual staff salary? Staff salary alone. Teacher's salary, the staff, the teaching and non-teaching staff, the amount, let's even imagine that everyone pays in full. The cost was 400,000 naira lesser than salaries. Wow. Now think of rent, think of tactics, think of resources, think of every other thing that the school will need. And then that was the time she realized that she had just been running. In fact, I won't say a not-for-profit organizations even have their systems. This is why we see some of them run 100 years, even 200 years, and they are still making impact. Now look at a private venture that have made that gross mistake. So calculate your fees, your school fees, according to your vision, the curriculum you want to offer, your target audience. Make sure it is accurate and have a payment policy that ensures, that is suitable for your audience.
Now, and Zainab, you keep talking about systems, which you have said is the lasting, is the backbone to running a sustainable and lasting school. Now, what are the systems that every school should have? If you're going to run it and build a system that lasts, what should you have as a school?
Oh, number one, an academic system. When I say an academic system, it means what is the academic value you want to add to the society? What exactly is it? There are in Lagos right now, there are over 20,000 private schools. So if you say you want to start your school or you're already existing in Lagos, what is that academic value that your school is bringing? So that is when you now start you now bring out the curriculum, let's say the Lagos State curriculum. If you want to if you want to blend, if you want to, any infusion you want to bring in, any existing gap what existing gaps have you identified? Probably you've identified financial literacy, you've identified entrepreneurship, you've identified some gaps, leadership skills that you want to impact in children. So you now need to first sit down with your team and probably have a curriculum development workshop and then create that, the academic system. Why this? And from your curriculum, you break it down to scheme, to even to the kind of lesson plan you want, to the teaching methodology you want in your classroom. Because when you are able to do this, then that is how you can ensure academic excellence. Down even to your timetable, to how you want everything, how you want to infuse extracurricular activities into your academics to make sure that you raise holistic children. And then the next thing is your administrative system. You see, this is
educational, administrative.
Yes. So the administrative system, your admission process, your examination policies, everything. In fact, now we are saying what we are working with our clients to do. We are doing SOPs for schools.
What's SOP?
Standard operating
procedure.
Yes, procedure. Okay. So we are doing SOPs for school such that let there be laid down foundation. This is who we are. This is what we do. So your administrative system, when you have your policies, and one thing about policies is that they are not papers. Don't mistake policies for papers, because when they are just papers, they are toothless lions. When they are not the practices, the accepted practices within the organization, it's just mere paper. All right. So the policies must be practiced. They are meant to be practiced. They are meant to be communicated and implemented. So when they are not implemented and they are just paper, they are, it's just like a toothless lion. So the administrative system is very important, and it covers everyone from the parents to the students, even to the disciplinary policies. How you want students in the school to be disciplined. Right? We are saying we are in an era of no corporal punishment, but we are not saying no discipline. So there must be disciplinary policy, and from the administrative system, there must be financial system.
That's the cocoa for me.
There must be financial system. All the academics thing. That one thing about academic planning is when you're doing that academic planning, it's always very sweet, but when you now look at what do we need to facilitate this, you start seeing the costs, what it will cost you to do this. That's now when you come to your financial system. So for your financial system, you need budgeting, you need your budget, you need your financial projection, you need your accounts, your account system to be up to date. And preferably use systems that are easily accessible, that they cannot get lost or tear or on papers, for example, they can tear, they can, but then use, there are some softwares out there now that can help you with your accounting system. So for financial system, make sure that you start preparing your budget. And in fact, we have ways that we help some of our clients on our website. Schools can see how they can calculate their fees on our website. They can see how they can or do their audit, and generate reports. So this is who we are, where we are at the moment, and what we need to do going forward, and all of those things. So you need your financial system, right? Being very intentional about finance does not mean you are greedy, right? In fact, it means you love children. Because when you get it right with finance and the school is able to run efficiently for a long time, you love the children. You're giving them memory. So you love it. You love them. Right? So, and then the human part, that's the people system. Here we're talking about the teaching and not academic system, administrative system, financial system, and the people system. So how you manage people in the school, what is the system around it? Your human resources, what are your HR policies? How do you hire? How do you fire? What is the system behind hiring? What is the system behind firing? Right? Because many organizations, I think Nigerian entrepreneurs, we have this bias. We are quick to hire but slow to fire. Right? So, and it shouldn't be.
So this is also where welfare comes in.
Yes. So we must look at what are the systems that can help us attract and retain top talents in our school. Right? Okay, how much are we paying our staff, and who are the best? How can we put within the amount we are paying? How can we get the best, and retain them? Because there is retention is very important. Retention, because when you keep changing teachers every term, in fact, for children, they start losing focus, because some children, they don't adapt quickly to a new phase. So it takes them a while. And if you keep having change, that may not help your system to be sustainable again, right? So you need academic system, administrative system, financial system, and the people system.
Okay, Zainab, for us experience, because for me, I think this is very important. Now, when we want to choose schools, so that we are choosing a system that would thrive for the next 10, 20 years, and not a school that is good today and tomorrow we look for it, we don't see it, just like we were saying earlier. What are the things that we should look out for when we're choosing a school for our children?
Yeah, when we're looking at as parents, when we're looking out for schools to choose for our children, we need to choose schools that the vision and values align with our family values. Each family has their value. This is who we are as a family. This is our identity. This is our philosophy. This is how we want to raise our children. So when we are looking out for schools, we should look out for schools that share similar values with ours. Let me break it down. In Nigeria, we have secular private schools. I mean, non-discriminatory private schools where children of all faith, they are welcome. There is an inclusion policy. Everyone feels everyone practices their faith with respect, right? And then there are faith-based private schools. For faith-based private schools, they may be Christian-owned, they may be Christian-led or Muslim-led. Now, when you're looking out for, I just used religion as an example. There are other values you can look out for in a school beyond religion, right? So as a parent, you now need to look at what do we want to do? Who do we want to raise, right? And then look at schools that their vision, their values align with your family values. So that's the first thing. And when you walk into a school, please, first thing, prioritize safety. Before you start asking the school about bills, how much do you pay, how much do you charge? Of course, as a family, before you already have your budget, you have your, how much you can pay. But then make sure, even if it's a low-cost school, make sure the school has a safe, clean, and neat environment to nurture your child. Why you need safety is that if the child does not feel safe in any environment, the child cannot learn.
Mm.
So the environment must be one that the child feels safe. So after you've ensured vision, values, you've ensured safety, you now start looking at, okay, so what's your academics plan? What's your academic plan? How do you help each child to bring out how do you bring out the best in each child? Because remember that every child has their unique potential. And if you enroll your child in a school where every child is treated as the same as one, your child may not have the best. So the school must have a support system that helps every child to thrive. And you need to ask them. Ask them questions about their academics, ask them questions about their payment policies, ensure that it aligns with what your family can work with. So those are some of the things you need to look out for when you're enrolling your child to a school. No, not listening to hearsays. There are parents who only enroll their child in a school based on this is the most popular school in this
Which is the school
environment,
raining now.
and you don't know what is behind. Yeah, they may be popular and doing well, and they may be popular and not be really doing well. So beyond the popularity, ask questions, go there, ensure that the values, the system, the safety structure in the school, everything, your child must be safe.
Mm.
Your child must be safe. In fact, there is something that when you want to enroll in a school, ask them about their toilet facilities.
Very important.
If they can be very intentional about their toilet facility, they'll be intentional about your child.
I think I'm taking that away from this conversation. Okay, so if you're just listening to us this morning, it's Time Out with me, Idara, this morning. And of course, I have the beautiful Zainab Mabini-Adesanya. She's a school growth strategist. And this morning, she's helping us to understand how we can build schools that last, whether you are a school owner, even as a parent, just like she said, how you can also make the right decisions for your child. Remember, it's Time Out with Idara right here on Radio 1 103.5 FM, your news, talk, and sports station. And yes, coming back to you, Zainab.
Okay.
Let's assume there's a school owner right now listening to us. They are tired, they are frustrated, they've done everything in the book, but nothing seems to be working. What would you say to them this morning?
Oh, if you feel tired, first is I want to encourage you. Be lifted. Be lifted because of your building the nation. Your contribution, though may seem little now, your contribution is for generations. I remember I have a childhood friend who we were in school, we started school together at age 5. I remember she still shared some things with me right now, that stuck with us from that time. How the school made her feel and everyone, you know. So you are giving children memories that would last, right? So number one, be lifted, be encouraged, feel positive, be happy, be grateful. You need to be grateful. And now, after you've embraced, you need this positivity to get out of the tiredness. Because if you don't feel positive about how that you can really make a difference, is going to be extremely difficult again, right? So, and then analyze it. What is the current situation? What are the challenges? Be truthful about it. Be truthful. If you need someone to help you diagnose what the current problem is, seek help. But be truthful. Sometimes why they are stuck is because they rely on tuition fees alone. Meanwhile, school is a long-term business. And it being a long-term business means it's one that cannot generate income fast with speed. Cannot generate income with speed. And if you're relying on it alone, and as human, you have daily needs, you have your personal needs. So what it means is that you must have, if you have a school, you must have, whether within the education industry there, whether within the school system, you must have some businesses that are short-term businesses, short-term investments that you can earn income on daily basis, or at least something to keep your family going so that you are not drained. So analyze your situation. If it is finance, look at the problem. What is it? Is it because you're earning from only one stream? Is it because you have many leakages? There are times that schools have several financial leakages. There may be too many children on discount. There may be too many children on discount. There may be too much laxity in receiving payments. Then you need to look at the leakages, and then probably you're overspending in some aspects. Some school owners, once they are fascinated about a resource like this, they may just need just one. Before you know it, they have bought three. So so look at the financial leakages, analyze why you are tired. When you're able to identify why you're tired, then you can now build system out on coming out of it and keep running. And if you need help with having partners, because one of the things that have killed schools so fast is because they are mainly one man show.
Mm, mm, mm.
So, and then there's this saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. Right.
Okay, Zainab, because of our time this morning, I know someone is listening this morning, probably an investor, probably a parent, a young person, maybe someone just listening to you this morning and said, okay, so I think I can do this. I want to build a system. I want to build a school that will last. What can they do? What are the pointers you can give them this morning to help them on their journey?
Okay, so if you intend to start, first thing is to identify the existing gaps. What is lacking? What can really help a business to make difference is that it is able to fill a gap. So if you don't know the gap, if you don't find out the existing gap, you cannot really make a difference. You just be like others, so nothing distinct. So find what is the existing gap, and from there, please, 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 first thing first, ensure you go to the Ministry of Education. Be very familiar about the minimum, because the government has the minimum basic requirement. Like if you want to have a secondary school, this is what you should have. If you want to have a primary school, this is what you should have. Please get that list of everything and look at it. Is this something I can achieve in 1, 2, 3 years? If it doesn't look like what you can achieve in 1 to 3 years, please don't start it yet. There are other ventures within the education industry that you can still run, that would not, because the danger here is, if a school runs for a long time without having those minimum basic requirements, one, the government will not be able to approve them. But then they would also struggle with the kind of parent they are able to attract. The kind of parents they'll be able to attract, the kind of fees they are able to charge will be very limited. And when they have these limited resources, they cannot be able to expand and grow well. So be sure that you will not deprive children of the memories they are supposed to have. Be sure that you can meet up with the government requirement, or basically you can exceed it, but on the minimum you can meet up.
Okay, yes, we have come to the end of our show. But before I let you go, I know somebody will say, okay, I enjoyed Zainab speaking this morning so much. I want to connect with her and her work. I want to reach out to her. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Let me not give you one minute, because we have used up our time. Now, how can they reach you? Whether on social media, just to follow you and your work.
Okay, my name across all social media, and this is Zainab Mabini-Adesanya. And can I roll out my line?
No, you have to pay me big money.
So just follow me online, Zainab Mabini-Adesanya. That's the name everywhere. That's the name I use.
Okay, so you heard it, Zainab Mabini-Adesanya, everywhere on social media. If you want to start to build schools that last,